February 11, 2013 began quietly in Lahad Datu, Sabah. The town awoke to the gentle glow of sunrise, with the air still and peaceful, as if nothing could disturb the calm that blanketed the region. Fishermen readied their nets for another day at sea, their boats bobbing gently on the water. Shopkeepers opened their doors, sweeping the front steps and greeting neighbors. The Sulu Sea, stretching out to the horizon, was calm and glassy, reflecting the promise of an ordinary day. But that calm was shattered in an instant. Around 200 armed men, arriving in boats under the cover of early morning, landed in the quiet village of Tanduo. Their sudden presence sent shockwaves through the community. These men called themselves the Royal Security Forces of the Sultanate of Sulu and North Borneo. They claimed they were not invaders, but heirs reclaiming ancestral land lost generations ago. Their banners and uniforms evoked a history many had forgotten, or tried to forget. Villagers watched from behind curtains and doorways, confused and afraid. Rumors spread quickly, and uncertainty gripped the community. The armed men spoke a language familiar to many, but their demands and intentions were anything but comforting. Tension filled the air as villagers tried to make sense of what was happening. The group set up camp on the edge of the village, raising a flag that had not flown there in decades. They made it clear they would not leave without being heard. The Malaysian government responded swiftly, dispatching police and military units to surround Tanduo. Roadblocks sprang up, and the once quiet village became the center of a national crisis. What began as a strange intrusion quickly escalated into a tense standoff. Negotiators tried to find a peaceful solution, but talks broke down as both sides refused to back down. News of the standoff spread rapidly. The world watched as a long-standing historical dispute erupted into armed conflict, drawing international attention to Sabah's shores. On March 1st, after weeks of failed negotiations, Malaysian forces launched a full-scale assault. Jets roared overhead. Troops advanced through palm oil fields, and explosions echoed across the countryside. The fighting was fierce and relentless. When the smoke cleared, dozens lay dead, militants, police, and soldiers alike. The incursion was over, but the cost was heavy. The village was scarred, and the people traumatized. In the aftermath, security across Sabah's east coast was tightened dramatically. The Eastern Sabah Security Zone, or ESS Zone, was established. Checkpoints, patrols, and military presence became a new normal for residents. The incident strained local relations, especially for those with family ties to the southern Philippines. Suspicion and fear crept into daily interactions, making old friendships feel uncertain. The dream of a peaceful, open border faded. In its place rose barbed wire, watchtowers, and a constant military presence. The sense of safety that once defined the region was gone. For Sabahans, the Lahad Datu crisis was a brutal awakening. History, once thought to be settled, had come alive with deadly consequences, leaving a mark on every family and every heart. The scars of the crisis lingered. Daily routines were disrupted, trust was shaken, and the rhythm of village life changed forever. Even years later, the memories remain vivid. The crisis was more than just a headline or a chapter in a history book. It was a stark reminder that old claims and unresolved disputes can still spark new conflicts, even in the present day. In Sabah, history isn't just something to be studied. It lives on in the stories told by elders, in the fears of children, and in the cautious hope of those who remember what was lost. The ghosts of the past had returned, leaving Sabah forever changed. The echoes of that day still shape the lives, dreams, and fears of its people, reminding everyone that history is never truly gone. To truly understand the story of Lahad Datu, we must look beyond the present and journey deep into the past, where legends and history intertwine. We must go back centuries, to a time when the fate of entire regions was decided by the rise and fall of great kingdoms, and the power of the sea. This was the era of powerful maritime kingdoms, where fleets of ships sailed across vast waters, connecting distant lands and peoples. North Borneo, what we now call Sabah, was once firmly under the control of the Brunei Sultanate, a dominant force in the region. But in the 1600s, a major rebellion erupted, shaking the foundations of Brunei's rule and threatening its hold over North Borneo. The Sultan of Brunei, desperate to maintain his kingdom, sought help from a powerful ally, the Sultan of Sulu, whose influence stretched across the Sulu Sea. Sulu's formidable warriors answered the call, crossing the sea to help crush the rebellion and restore order to the troubled land. In gratitude for this crucial assistance, the Sultan of Brunei made a historic gesture. He ceded North Borneo to the Sultan of Sulu in 1658, sealing their alliance with a royal agreement. From that moment on, the Sultan of Sulu ruled over North Borneo, collecting taxes, administering justice, and considering Sabah an integral part of his domain. This transfer of land is the very foundation of the Philippine claim to Sabah, a gift of gratitude, not a conquest by force. For the people of Sulu, Sabah is more than just territory. It is ancestral heritage, a land tied to their identity and history, not a foreign place. The sultans never forgot this legacy, even as new powers arrived on their shores and the world around them began to change. The belief in rightful ownership persisted through generations, surviving colonial negotiations and legal battles, setting the stage for future conflict. When the British arrived with their contracts, ambitions, and new laws, the story of Sabah took a dramatic new turn, one that would echo for centuries. The Sulu claim is rooted in this centuries-old act, a king's reward for loyalty and a bond between two ancient thrones. For many Sulu descendants, this is not just a chapter in history books, it is a living inheritance, a story passed down through families and communities. This enduring belief would eventually clash with new powers, new treaties, and shifting borders, fueling a dispute over Sabah that continues to shape lives and politics to this very day. In 1878, as European colonial ambitions swept across Southeast Asia, North Borneo became a focal point of international intrigue and competition. The region's rich resources and strategic location attracted the attention of powerful foreign interests. Baron von Overbeck and Alfred Dent, two ambitious European businessmen, approached the Sultan of Sulu, seeking to secure rights to this coveted territory. Their negotiations would set the stage for a conflict that endures to this day. A treaty was signed, an agreement that in exchange for an annual payment, granted Overbeck and Dent rights over North Borneo. This arrangement seemed straightforward, but its true nature would soon be hotly debated. The heart of the controversy lies in a single word from the treaty: pajak. Its meaning would become the source of endless legal and diplomatic wrangling. The British, eager to solidify their control, translated pajak as to cede, claiming it meant the Sultan had permanently surrendered the land. But the Sulu heirs and the Philippine government argue that pajak means to lease, that the Sultan only allowed temporary use, and true ownership never changed hands. For Malaysia, the treaty represents a sale, a final transfer of sovereignty. For the Philippines, it is a rental agreement, a contract that never extinguished Sulu's rights. This single word, pajak, has fueled more than a century of legal battles, diplomatic protests, and passionate debate. The British North Borneo Company ruled the territory, making annual payments to the Sultan's heirs, a practice Malaysia continues to this day, keeping the issue alive. Malaysia insists these are cession payments, proof of rightful ownership. The Philippines counters that they are rent, evidence that the lease remains valid and unresolved. This unresolved ambiguity sits at the very heart of the Sabah conflict, shaping relations and fueling tensions between nations. Was the 1878 treaty a clever diplomatic deal, or a calculated deception that changed the fate of a region? The answer remains elusive, shrouded in history and controversy, ensuring the dispute continues to cast a long shadow. One word, two meanings, an endless conflict that refuses to fade away. Malaysia's claim to Sabah rests on self-determination, not just old treaties. In 1963, before forming Malaysia, the British wanted to ensure Sabahans truly wanted to join. The Cobbold Commission and a UN mission surveyed the people. Most chose Malaysia. For Malaysia, this was the ultimate test. Sabahans freely decided their future. The Philippines disputed the process, but the UN reaffirmed the result. Malaysia argues that the people's will overrides any ancient claim. Sabah is now an integral Malaysian state, its status confirmed by international oversight. Annual payments to Sulu heirs are seen as honoring a colonial-era agreement, not as rent. For Malaysia, the case is closed. Sabah's people chose their path. The Philippines sees Sabah as a matter of historical justice. They argue the 1878 treaty was a lease, not a sale. Britain was a tenant, not an owner. When the British left, Sabah should have reverted to the Sultanate, not joined Malaysia. In 1962, Sulu heirs transferred their rights to the Philippine government, making it a national issue. Manila claims the 1963 referendum was flawed and didn't offer true choice. The Philippine Constitution includes all territories over which it claims sovereignty, interpreted by many as including Sabah. For the Philippines, dropping the claim would betray history and national honor. The dispute remains a powerful, unresolved issue in Philippine politics. For Sabahans, the dispute isn't just politics, it's daily life. The 2013 Lahad Datu incursion brought fear and lasting trauma. Security measures like S-zone and curfews changed routines and livelihoods. Cross-border families now face suspicion and discrimination. Economic growth is hampered by instability and the threat of crime. Many Filipino-descended Sabahans feel targeted, deepening social divides. For most, the ownership debate is a distraction from real needs: jobs, safety, and opportunity. Ordinary people bear the brunt of a conflict they didn't choose. Sabah is more than a disputed territory, it's a vibrant, diverse land. Over 30 indigenous groups, plus Chinese, Malay, and Filipino communities, create a unique cultural mosaic. Festivals like Kaamatan and Regatta Lepa celebrate this rich heritage. Sabah's natural beauty, Mount Kinabalu, Sipadan Island, and rainforests, draws visitors worldwide. Tourism and natural resources drive the economy, but local identity runs deeper. Sabahans often see themselves as Sabahan first, Malaysian second. Their sense of belonging is rooted in land, culture, and community, not in political disputes. For them, Sabah is home, not a prize. Ask Sabahans what matters, and the answer is clear: peace, security, and a better future. The Lahad Datu crisis left deep scars. People want safety, not more conflict. Economic development and greater autonomy are top priorities. Many feel Sabah's wealth benefits others more than locals. They want more control over resources and decisions affecting their lives. The sovereignty debate is less important than real progress. Sabahans are tired of being pawns in distant political games. They want their voices heard and respected. The future should be shaped by Sabahans themselves. Any solution must start with their aspirations. The Sabah dispute is tangled in history and pride, but the path forward is clear. Both sides have documents and arguments, but the people's will matters most. Sabahans have lived as Malaysians for decades. Their identity is set. Old treaties can't override the rights of millions living there now. Instead of endless confrontation, Malaysia and the Philippines should cooperate. Joint efforts on security and development would benefit both nations. The region's future depends on peace, not old grievances. Sabah's destiny should be decided by its people. It's time to let go of ghosts and build a stable, prosperous future. The real solution lies in respecting Sabahans' choice and working together for a better tomorrow.